Hi everyone, I'm here with Jason Knight. You may know him from his 9-fight stint in the UFC or his bare knuckle boxing career. He's making his debut at the PFL coming soon, and he's got wins over Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises, and Alex Caceres, all of whom are currently in the UFC top 15. You may also know him from his bare knuckle rivalry Artem Lobov, going 1-1 in two of the best bare knuckle matches we've ever seen. I'd just like to say thank you for joining me, Jason.
I appreciate you having me on the show, man.
Thank you. So first, I wanted to ask about your rivalry with Artem Lobov. Originally, I was going to ask if you were interested in a trilogy match, but he's actually retired as of today. Do you have any feelings on that?
I really didn't feel the need for a trilogy. The first fight, we had a lot of animosity built up because he talked a lot of trash. I talked a lot of trash. And then we went out there and both fought like a couple madmen. And then the second fight, I came out and I fought the way that I was supposed to. And I feel like I showed that I was the better fighter. And I don't feel really the need for a trilogy because, you know, in the second fight, I barely got touched. And I don't see a third fight going any other way than the way that the second fight went, you know. Because, you know, with that, all the animosity and the anger and everything's pretty much gone. So I was able to fight with a clear head in the second fight. And, you know, that's the same way it would be in a third fight. I go out there and I fight with a clear head, and I don't think he stands a chance.
That's fair. Your most recent fight was against Charles Felony Bennett in the first Gamebred FC card. He dropped you quickly with a hook at the start of the fight. Did he hit harder than you expected him to?
I don't really know if it was the fact that he hit hard. I think it was like his timing was sneaky, and he caught me with a punch that I wasn't expecting to get hit with. I never was rocked or dazed or anything like that. He just simply caught me with the punch whenever I wasn't expecting to get hit. I came in to throw the double jab, and before I ever even got the first jab all the way to him, he hit me. And after that, you know, I feel like it was time to go after that. You know, normally after I get hit once or twice, then I really wake up and it's time to fight. So, yeah, it just, I think it was just more of his timing than anything.
Yeah. That Gamebred FC card was bare knuckle MMA, which is the first time that's been seen since, I mean, almost the original UFCs. Would you be interested in competing in that again?
You know, if they were paying more money. As of right now, I'm happy with the PFL. They're paying just as good as the UFC, so I'm happy there. And I believe that I just signed a multi-fight deal with PFL, so I believe that I'll be happy there for a while. And I believe that if I go out here and I fight, you know, with my true potential, without any kind of distractions, you know, like when I was in the UFC, I had tons of distractions, did a lot of, you know, stupid things. And I believe if I go out here and I fight like I'm supposed to in the PFL, then my stock's just going to keep rising. And I believe by the end of my PFL contract, I'll be able to go wherever I want to
go. As I understand it, your fight with the PFL on the 27th, that's not part of the tournament. Are you hoping to compete in the tournament next year?
Yes, I believe that that's part of the agreement. Is if I go out here and I win this fight, then that pretty much secures me into the tournament for next year.
There's a lot of great fights to be made there. After that stint in bare knuckle you had, I feel like it's easy for a lot of people to forget that grappling is actually more your wheelhouse. After coming off that bare knuckle stint, do you feel more comfortable in your stand-up?
Yes, for sure, man. I feel like my stand-up has improved tremendously. You know, whether or not I get to show that, you know, that's really depends on what the other fighter does. But everything has improved since my stint in the UFC. I've gotten better grappling. I've gotten better wrestling, better stand-ups. I believe that, whenever we go out here August the 27th, if it's a full fight, then you'll get to see a lot more out of Jason Knight than what people expect to see.
As I mentioned earlier, you have wins over Dan Hooker and Thiago Moises, who are both in the top 15 at the UFC at the moment at lightweight. After seeing their success in moving up in weight, would you ever consider doing a stint at lightweight, or are you happy at featherweight?
I'm happy at featherweight right now, man. I walk around right at 160 pounds, and no matter what I eat, I can't gain any weight. I guess my metabolism is just too fast. Maybe once I got a little older and my metabolism slows down, I would consider doing lightweight. But as of right now, I'd be one of the smaller lightweights out there.
And at 160, while it's not an easy weight cut, you'd almost see bantamweights weighing in at that much. Would you ever consider a drop in weight, or?
Nah, I like my cheeseburgers and my pizza weights. But, I walk around at 160 comfortably, and I can eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, and then I get the weight off pretty easy. If I wanted to go to bantamweight, man, I would have to start a diet, and I've never dieted before in my life. I don't plan on. The way I look at it, if I have to start dieting and suffering and stuff like that, then it's no longer fun anymore. I started this career because there's something that I love to do. It's something that's fun to me. And if I've got to go out there and eat stuff that I don't like and stuff like that, then I feel like it's not going to be any more fun. It's going to be more like a job. And I mean, of course, while this is my job, I don't want to treat it that way. I want to treat it as something that I love, something that's fun. And I don't plan on ever taking the fun out of it.
One thing that the PFL offers that you wouldn't have had in the UFC is sponsorship opportunities. Are you looking forward to being able to capitalize on that?
Yes. I just got a new sponsor with Sheath Underwear. I'm still looking for one more, because that's the only thing that sucks, is that you're only allowed to have 2 sponsors on your fight gear, and that's a hard thing to do, is to get only 2 and still make decent money. I would like to go out there and put on a good show, and hopefully in the next fight I'll be able to get a couple big name sponsors, hopefully a couple endorsement deals or something like that.
Olivier Aubin Mercier fought for the PFL recently, and one of his sponsors was a website he set up himself so that people could tip him. What do you think of something like that?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty badass idea. I wonder how you even go about that.
I don't know. Maybe ask your management. They could set something up.
Yeah. So like, I wonder if you got any tips, or
I think he said he made about $4,000 off it.
Sweet. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, you've got a pretty fan-pleasing style, so.
For sure. I'm hoping, man, I'll go out here August 27th and get a finish in the first round. That's 6 points, and then from the way I look at it, that's pretty hard to compete with. 6 points real. I've seen some of the guys that they fight all their fights and barely get 6 points. So that'd be nice.
Yeah. As I understand it, you've just headed down to Coconut Creek to finish off your camp at American Top Team. What's it like being training with some of the talent there?
Oh man, it's amazing. Back home, I've got maybe 3 or 4 guys that are close to the next level, and that's the best that you get. And you can go in, and I can do 3 classes a day, but my gym is 45 minutes away from my house, and then I'll go to another gym for striking. It's another 30 minutes away from the first gym. And then in the afternoon, I'll go to another gym, which is another hour drive. So, I'm constantly having to drive around, and it's sort of stressful. Here, I've got all the next level guys you could ever want. They're either at my level or above my level, and all I gotta do is walk downstairs. I walk downstairs and I can get 3 or 4 classes a day. I'm staying in the dorms up above the gym, so it takes me a whole 35 seconds to get down and get on the mats, and I absolutely love it. It's stress free. I can cook my food right here in the dorms. Go cook my food. Make my protein shakes, all that good stuff, and then go right downstairs and get after it.
And given that you're living in the dorms, have you been living cleaner, or are you still enjoying your cheeseburgers and stuff?
I'm living a tiny bit cleaner. I've switched over to home cooked meals instead of fast food as much. Of course, I'm still gonna treat myself every now and then, but my idea of cleaner, like I said, is just home cooked meals, which I'm not real sure if chicken fajitas are much better than a hamburger, but I tried cooking chicken and rice, stuff like that, and that's my idea of cleaner. I'm not eating greasy ass hamburgers every day or slices of pizza every day, so I guess you could call it a little cleaner.
I mean, I suppose different things work for different people. You look at Jorge Masvidal; he's been eating McDonald's his whole career. So,
same man. I've never had to swap up my diet at all. I did recently start taking a supplement called Super Greens made by Glaxon. My boy Brock Weaver, he's sponsored by Glaxon, and he gave me some of the Super Greens. It replaces your fruits and your vegetables. And I've never ate fruits or vegetables because the texture, I don't really like the texture of most fruits and vegetables. Well, I started taking the Super Greens, and man, it's made a world of difference. It makes my body feel so much better just having that nutrients that I've never gotten before. And I still get to eat and drink whatever I want. Really, now I'm actually adding something that I've never had.
When you came back to MMA at the start of this year, you seem to have your sights firmly set on the UFC. And I know you said you're interested in competing in the PFL season next year and stuff, but ultimately, do you still have your sights set on getting back to the UFC, or are you happy with staying in the PFL for now?
For now, I have no problem with the PFL. I fought 9 times in the UFC, and I never got close to $1 million. With the PFL, if I go out here and I win this fight, then I believe that enters me into next year's tournament. And the way that looks, that's 4 fights. And if you win all 4, you make $1 million. So it's pretty intriguing to me. The only way I would really want to go back to the UFC is after I complete this, this stint in PFL, and UFC would have to offer me more than what PFL is offering. And, as of right now, I've already lived the dream of, making it to the UFC. Whenever I was younger, that's what I had my sights set on, was making it to the UFC. And no matter what, I wasn't going to settle for Bellator or PFL or, one championships, anything like that. It was, I haven't dreamed of being in the UFC since I was a 14-year-old kid to settle for going somewhere else. But now, I've lived that dream. I made it to number 15 in the world. I could have done even better. That's the main thing. The main reason I would actually want to go back to the UFC is just to prove that, I have more to offer than what I originally did. But as of right now, it's more about securing a family. Securing a future for my family, and whether it's PFL won championships, whatever organization out there that's, paying me the best money and giving me the best future for my kids, that's what I'm going to go with.
But there still is that allure of, I suppose, the UFC belt. I mean, while financially PFL are definitely the top dogs at the moment, I imagine it's hard to look at an MMA career and not want that UFC belt.
For sure, man. That would be nice. But like I said, if it comes down to it and UFC offers more than PFL whenever my contract is up, I'll jump ship and go to the UFC. But if PFL is offering more to keep me, then I'll stay right here where I'm at and be happy. And, I've seen the PFL belt and the UFC belt. They're both pretty badass, and I really like the system that PFL has, how it's more like an actual sports season. I could go out here and I could lose this first fight and get 0 points, and then come out and finish my guy early in the next fight and be ahead of the guy who just beat me by a decision or something, And I kind of like that. I feel like it really is going to really, push the action. It's going to push guys to look for finishes instead of, guys that are just wrestlers who are looking to grind it out and get an easy decision. I think they're looking for finishes more now, and I think that's a very smart move by the PFL.
Yeah, I agree. With you saying that it's treated more like a sport, whereas at times in the UFC it can be like a popularity contest.
Yes, I absolutely hate that. Conor McGregor, I hate to even bring his name up, but he's turned the sport into something that is turning the UFC into something that I really hate. It's almost like the WWE these days or something. If you and such have crossed words and Dana White thinks that it'll sell a lot of tickets, then he's going to book that fight. The ranking system means absolutely nothing because this guy right here said this, and they had a beef back and forth on social media. So a lot of people are talking about it. Let's throw him in a fight, and it's going to make us a whole bunch of money. That's just the way that I see Dana White working these days. He's more worried about money than an actual ranking system. Now, you've got guys that have been working their ass off to be in the number 1, number 2 spot, and then all of a sudden Conor McGregor talks trash to somebody and he jumps 6 spots and gets a big name fight. And I really don't agree with that. And it's not just Conor these days. It's other guys now that they're doing the same exact, little motive or whatever. If I talk trash to this one, then he'll throw us in a big super fight or whatever.
Yeah, I'm from Ireland, so Connor actually got me into the sport, but the way he's been acting recently, it really has been disgusting. Even if you're completely right. If you look at after that Poirier McGregor fight recently, the third fight, Dana was still saying, "Oh, down the road we can book them for a 4th fight." After Poirier just beat him up 2 times, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely stupid. And see, like now you've got Jake Paul talking about fighting Conor McGregor, and that'll almost definitely happen just because it's a money scheme. And I don't really like that. I feel like you should just fight the next guy that's in your way, and all the trash talking should just, if you want to talk trash or whatever, talk trash, but that should end whenever you get inside of the cage with your next opponent. It shouldn't dictate who's next. I don't know. I guess that's just me, but I really feel like if you're wanting to fight someone, then you have to work your way to that person's level and then fight them. You know.
What do you think overall about the Paul brothers? And they're almost the biggest names in combat sports at the moment, despite being relatively amateur boxers. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like that idea just because, you know, they showed up overnight, didn't really have to work all that hard to get to where they are in the combat world, you know, but they have worked very hard in the social media world, and, you know, they've gained a great following there. So, you know, I understand that they're actually getting a lot of hype just because they're YouTubers or whatever. But I don't think they should be getting these big name fights like Floyd Mayweather and stuff like that, and Tyrone Woodley and stuff like that. I feel like they should have had to work their way there. But at the same time, man, both of those guys actually have some decent skills. I don't know if you watched the bare knuckle fights this past weekend, but those guys, the YouTubers and TikTokers that were on there, and the blue face guy, that was a laughing stock to combat sports. These are guys with zero skills that's never fought a day in their life, and they're getting thrown in these pay-per-view spots above guys that have worked their ass off to get there. And, you know, they're getting a lot of shine just because they're YouTubers or whatever. Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they actually put in work. They actually look like they have decent skills, and that I kind of commend that. But I don't really think that some YouTuber that has no skills whatsoever, never fought a day in his life, has any place inside of a ring.
I was actually just about to ask you about the Blueface fight. Funny you mention it. Say you were still with Bare Knuckle, and you were offered something like that. Would you take it just for, I mean, the payday, or is it just something that doesn't interest you at all?
I would take it for an easy payday, and I would go out there and I would smash Blueface up and, you know, show him how people are actually supposed to fight. I believe that, you know, I believe that Blueface should be fighting a guy like Brandon Lambert or something. You know who I'm talking about? Mallow.
No.
He fought in bare knuckle not too long ago against Jared Grant, and Jared Grant pretty much outclassed him. You know, Brandon Lambert has very, very little skill, but he's talked a lot of trash, and he got himself in that spot. And I think he just signed a 3-fight deal with Bare Knuckle. So I think he should be fighting guys like Blueface and those YouTubers, you know, just because he talks a lot of trash. And I feel like he's still willing to get in there and fight. So why not put him or in a fight with guys that are kind of closer to his level? I believe that, you know, what he's going to do, though, he's going to talk so much trash, they're actually going to put him in there with good opponents, and he's just going to get his ass kicked. And I hate to see that. I would rather see him, you know, with someone close to his competition.
Yeah, I can't see them throwing him in with good fighters, but I mean, I suppose you can only wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I would definitely fight Blueface or what's the other guy, Evil Hero or whatever. Yeah, I think that any of those fights would be easy fights and easy paycheck. But you know, I definitely don't think that they would deserve to be in that spot. I think that, you know, just the YouTube alone or whatever would be the only reason that they're even there.
Yeah, well, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we can talk again after your fight. Hopefully you'll be coming home with a win. Best of luck.
Hopefully we'll be talking about the big win. I appreciate you having me on, man, and I'm sorry it was so difficult.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Like I said, back home, I'm driving probably 4 hours a day, you know, jumping from gym to gym and trying to get in all the work that I'm getting here. And here it's just the schedule is a whole lot easier on me.
Yeah, you taking the time out to talk to me really means a lot to me. So don't worry about it. Thank you so much.
Bro. Anytime you want to have me back on the show, just get up with me. We'll make it happen.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, buddy. You have a good day.
You too.
All right, good.